SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Join the growing crowd at Mid-Delta Online Auction. Download their app by searching Mid-Delta Auction to bid on tractors, trailers, heavy equipment, golf carts, and more. Download the app today or call Will Jeffcoat at 662-299-2414 for more details for the first Tuesday of every month auction in Greenwood.
Roll pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, roll A, fade up on A.
Southern Miss to the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour. Glad you're with us. We're in the Southern Bancorp studio here in Hattiesburg. Bob, Kelly, and Dima, happy Friday to you. Football again this weekend. Scrimmage coming up tomorrow. Fan Fest as well. Going to be talking a little later in the show, too, to Ryan Hebert, former offensive lineman, 2005 to 2008. Be interested to see what he says about how this heat affects the big guys, maybe more than everybody else. But first, let's do this.
Time for the SuperTalk Eagle Hour 2026 Sun Belt Football Countdown, sponsored by Hancock Whitney Bank.
At Hancock Whitney, we know strong communities are built through teamwork, dedication, and tradition, the same values that define Southern Miss athletics. I'm Daniel Stewart, business banker at Hancock Whitney. We're proud to support Eagle Hour and the student athletes, alumni, and fans who make Golden Eagle Nation so special. Whether you're buying a home, growing your business, planning for retirement, or simply looking for a trusted financial partner, our team is here to help you every step of the way. Hancock Whitney, your dream, our mission. Proud to support Southern Miss. To the top.
All right, Kelly Sander, let's set it up. Who we got today?
Butch Jones, the head coach at Arkansas State, as he gets further into his tenure at Arkansas State, they're always projected to be among the best teams in the league. Joining us on the Eagle Hour, let's start again, coming in 3, 2, 1. Joining us on the Eagle Hour, sixth-year coach Butch Jones at Arkansas State. His Red Wolves projected to be one of the teams to battle in the West this year. 3 straight bowl appearances, 21 wins in the last 3 years over your tenure, Coach. You know, you're developing a reputation. of being pretty good, and we don't like it at Southern Miss. But let's talk a little bit about your team. I think one of the reasons that you guys are being picked so lofty, it starts with your offensive line. You got a lot of people coming back, and you got a lot of depth. Fill in some more blanks there for us.
Well, you know, we need to. When you really look at the teams that have had success in our league, they usually have a returning quarterback, and we do not have that. We have some talented individuals at that position, but we don't have a quarterback in our program that took a snap last year in college football. So we really made a concentrated effort to improve up front in the offensive line. I think we've been able to do that. We've added some depth. We've added some quality depth, a lot of competition there, and I think that's really elevated our entire team, and that has to be a strength for us in moving forward.
The ground game, too, a lot of question marks is where's the rushing yardage? Where's that coming from?
Well, it starts with Kenyon Clay, who you know very well.
Right.
He's had probably the best off season of anyone in our football program. He's really done a good job. He's dedicated himself in the strength and conditioning area, and just, you know, being in the best physical condition that he can be. Devin Spencer's another individual from Tampa, Florida, who's played a lot of football for us. So those two individuals kind of lead the way, but I think it really, again, starts up front, and then our ability to run the quarterback a little bit as well.
Now, Ethan Crawford's another Southern Miss guy.
That's exactly right.
Right? That's in your program. Can you kind of give us a progress report on Ethan?
Ethan's doing a really good job, and you know, he's battling for the quarterback competition right now, and he's had a very good off season. Another individual, Southern Miss ties, is Will Saxton. who's competing to be our starting right guard, who's one of our team leaders as well. So you look at the three individuals that we have with Southern Miss ties, they've really done a good job for us in our program.
And when you look in the defensive side of your team now, the safeties, I think your colleagues are telling me are pretty strong, but you brought in a lot of corners through the portal. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we did. That's an area of improvement, and obviously we lost a lot of individuals through graduation, and the one individual who's really stepped up is a young man by the name of Nora Flores, who's a transfer from Utah State. He's actually turned into one of our team leaders, and really excited about him. And so we did. It's the same thing with the offensive line. We really made an effort to improve the back end of our defense, and we feel we've been able to do that, particularly at the corner position.
Is it fair to say that the pass rush last year was not what you had hoped it would be?
Well, actually, that was a strength at the end of the year. I think our players developed, but that's our biggest area on defense is our defensive front. We only have two individuals that are back from last year's team, and they were both true freshmen. So, again, we went out, and just like anybody right now, nobody really knows where they're at. I think you really find out about your teams when you suffer the natural adversities of a long football season, and you find out. But we take such great pride in building character and our connection amongst each other and just our standards and our expectations. So I think our identity will continue to evolve. Back in the day when usually your teams were in place, I thought it took about 2 to 4 games for them to really reveal who they are. Now in today's world of college football, I think it could take upwards to 6 to 7 games for your team to really identify who they are and their football identity.
Now, what about the rush defense, Coach? Because I think that was a little inconsistent last year.
Very inconsistent. And again, we had to do a much better job of fitting our gaps. We did a thorough research why, and a lot of times we were out of position or missed tackles, and that's why really the development in the back end of our defense, our tackling at the safety position, at the corner position, and really all three levels of our defense. We'll be brand new at the linebacker positions as well. So, I've never been through this situation. We went through spring football, and we only had 5 individuals on our football team that had been on defense that had been through a spring football with us. So you're looking at really a brand new defense and only having 2 returning starters.
All right, Kelly, it sounds like to me 2 things jumped out at me with that interview. A lot of rebuilding up at Ark State.
Particularly in the defensive secondary. But Butch Jones now in his 6th year. He's second in tenure behind Ricky Ronnie at Old Dominion. And Butch Jones, from Tennessee and Cincinnati, he's coached at bigger programs. They'll be competitive just because of the reputation that he brings to the table. Did you know, though, Bob, too, that he's a watch collector? He's big into watches and the different types of companies that make watches. And I guess when you're making that kind of money, you can go out and buy these different watches.
But I'm a Timex man.
I got you. I'm a DG fan.
Yeah,
Dollar General.
Oh, I was like,
another thing jumps out at you, Deem, is all these Southern Miss kids that are at Arkansas State and contributing to that program.
Yeah, he was just naming off players, and I was like, how is that guy still playing football? But I guess that's the question for a lot of teams. But yeah, Kenyon Clay, obviously Southern Miss saw him last year in that kind of just like weirdly important game in Jonesboro last year when, it wasn't a game that anybody thought was going to be, potentially deciding the West, and it certainly was a huge game that Southern Miss was able to get out of there with a win. Obviously, that's where Braylon Braxton got hurt and kind of derailed the whole season. But yeah, and this year Arkansas State's interesting because, like you said, they don't have a quarterback, but their offense, as far as wide receivers, offensive line, and running backs, are really good. So they can find someone to just kind of chemistry, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, chemistry's a good word.
Captain the offense, I guess, be the guy who can just let it run. You'd feel like they'd be pretty good there. And then obviously the secondary is a pretty big concern from them. Interesting note, at Memphis, opening game.
Question I have for you, Dima, is ultimately, why do you think Southern Miss lost Ethan Crawford? Why do you think he decided to, money aside, do you think that, because there was a lot of times that Ethan Crawford was kind of looked upon as the next guy, right?
Well, it's because he knew he wasn't going to start over Braylon Braxton, so he left to go to somewhere where he could start. That's a pretty obvious answer there, and I don't think he would have. I don't think he wanted to sit behind Braylon Braxton in 25 to. if he was on this roster still, would he be in the starter this year? I don't know. Maybe you don't have to go get Hampton, but he certainly didn't want to sit on the bench behind Braylon Braxton.
So just like fast food these days, guys want fast starts, I guess, or ways that they can make more money, even if it means leaving the NFL to go back to college.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't going to start over Jalen Rayner either, so it was just a little bit confusing there. So,
well, we got another coaches interview coming up Monday, and that'll be with Louisiana's head coach, and that's always a team of very interesting to me. And then we're going to be talking to some bowl officials from the Cure Bowl and the Independence Bowl, Kelly.
It's interesting how even at these media days that these bowl representatives are around shaking hands, handing out business cards, and talking to these coaches as to why, if they become bowl eligible, they need to consider their bowl. Those bowl teams are as sought after. You can't believe there's recruiting going on there, because you don't think it's important that those bowl officials get the teams that they want. And you'll see when we get to hear from them next week, the number one thing is, if we invite you to our bowl game, will you bring some fans with you?
Sure, they want to make some money. Absolutely. Hey, Ryan Hebert played offensive line for the Golden Eagles 2005 through 2008. He's got a pretty good idea what the big guys are going through right now getting ready for football in this terrible heat. We'll have that conversation next. Super Talk Eagle Hour is on the air.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
Southern Miss to the top. To the top. You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour.
All right, welcome back, everybody. That opening segment with our preview, Sunbelt Football Preview, was sponsored, of course, by our good friends at Hancock Whitney Bank. And the opening segment was sponsored by our good friends at Movie Star, which would be a great place to go tonight. They're open tonight, 5 to 8 o'clock. I suggest the brisket and stuffed baked potato on a Friday night. Really good meal. I think you'll enjoy it too. This segment is sponsored by our buddies at Eagle Tire West. That's where Matt Warren and the guys sell Goodyear products and do all kinds of great service work on cars and trucks. They're located on Highway 98 West in Hattiesburg. Eagle Tire located on Hardy Street. Hey, don't forget about our podcast. It's available every day on Apple, Audible, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube. Alexa or Siri will play it for you. I think the heart of every football team is the offensive line, and we've got a great offensive lineman on the show with us today. Ryan Hebert was All-Conference USA offensive guard for the Golden Eagles, 2005 through 2009. Played for, what an interesting time to play for Jeff Bauer and then Larry Fedora. Ryan, welcome back to the show, man. It's good to have you on the program.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Jeff Bauer and Larry Fedora. Before we get into the interview, I want you to contrast the differences between these two great coaches, and both were that really fine college football coaches.
They were both great. Two totally different guys, but they were both genuinely fired up to be football coaches, and they cared about their players. It's hard to explain. We've had those questions come up several different times. Which one you rather, or which one was different or better, and so on. They were just two great men that got the best out of their athletes in different ways, and two guys that mean a lot to a lot of folks.
I think that's a great explanation. They're both great college football coaches. They just had different personalities, different styles. All right, Ryan, our man here, Dima, covers football practice every day. We were talking yesterday on the show of just about how hot it is out there for these kids. And it's harder on guys like you. Am I not right? It's harder on the big guys, even more so than the smaller guys. That kind of put in perspective what it's like to be out in this kind of weather getting ready for football.
Man, camp is a different beast. And I know everything has changed since, back then when we were doing it. I don't even think they're allowed to do 2-a-day practices anymore. Now the heat is something that you got to be in shape, and the summertime conditioning comes big into play. But you can be as in best shape as you can be, and when this 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so of fall camp, when it comes and gets you, you got to just dig deep and find some type of way to push through it. The mental toughness of it is what's going to build you and your teammates for the long haul, for the season. But the best thing I can remember of camp is, if there's anything to remember of there, is I know us as the big guys, we used to love getting in the cold tubs after the practices. Now some of your smaller guys, your skill folks, they hated it because it was so cold. But us big guys, the trainers did not have to ask us more than once to get into the cold tub after practice, because we were getting in it regardless.
Now, is that ice in that water?
It is.
Oh.
It is.
Now, Ryan, you're from a small town, Louisiana. We've asked other guys as to why NFL coaches, the most successful coaches using win-loss as a metric, offensive linemen are the most successful head coaches in the NFL. And guys will jokingly say, well, it's because they're the smartest guys on the field. But what makes, if that's true, what makes offensive linemen the smartest guys on the field?
Well, I mean, I think that narrative kind of goes and comes with some folks. I think if you talk to some of our former teammates and all, they're going to say that some of the linemen were not the smartest. But I think if you really dig down into it and look around, that those guys, I mean, they got to know what all five are doing at the same time. I mean, we all have to be on the same page. Run, protect the pass. We got to block assignments. I mean, we all are moving as one unit. The other positions, receiver or running back, I mean, they know, hey, I got my job. That's what I got to do in that play. Well, as up front on the line, I mean, we all have to know exactly what each of us are doing to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the group.
Could that not also be said for the defensive line, or does it operate differently?
Yeah, yes. I mean, in so many words, I guess you can say yes. D linemen are kind of they're the next group that they got to be on the same page when they're running stunts and different blitzes and all that for the schemes. But I mean, they're more of a one or two guy, maybe a nose and an end. They may twist or stunt when the linebacker come off the edge or something like that. But it's just a little bit different with the O-line up front, what all five of us have to be just kind of in sync. And I think you can tell that watching programs. I mean, watching teams. Most teams that are successful, they have a strong offensive line play.
I've been watching fall camp almost every single day, and I was actually going to do a story about this on the Pine Belt News this morning about I don't know if you would call it an issue on the offensive line, but something that they've been struggling with on the offensive line is that they have not really nailed down who their starting five offensive lineman is going to be, and they'll rotate three guys with two guys with the other three guys, and another three guys with another one guy. You know what I'm saying? So, as an offensive lineman, how important is it to work with the same group consistently? Some mix and matching, but for the most part, a group consistently working together for communication purposes.
Well, that's going to be huge, especially up front, like we're talking about. Once you get comfortable and you know how your teammate's going to play, how he's going to react to this move or to that blocking scheme or an audible when you get up to the line, and we kind of had two different schemes with Coach Bauer there and then Fedora. I mean, we were no hurry up, no huddle, rolling with Fedora, and you all had to be on the same page real quick, make adjustments, make a decision to go this way or whatever, and just the familiarity with each other, with your lineman, with your center and your guarding tackle, and one side of it, you just kind of you build that chemistry and that trust of, hey, I know if I'm going to set up this way, I know my center's going to be right here. Or the tackle may let the defensive end come in because he knows that the guard's going to be there for him. So I couldn't imagine, these days now with everything on the portals and the roster turning over so many times. That's a tough deal there to build that camaraderie with each other, the trust to know that, hey, I know my brother's got my back. Here he is, and we're going to go with it.
Ryan Hebert, when people ask you the question, will Southern Miss ever return to the air quotes glory days? How do you answer that question?
I think with the majority of the time, what I tell folks is the game has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're any type of football fan or even just a sports fan, I mean, you know that it's changed. For Southern Miss to get back to where we were, so many years ago, I mean, I don't know, how do you tell folks yes, it's going to happen. I mean, we know it can happen. I mean, there's more and more folks that want to come to Hattiesburg to come play at Southern Miss. You just got to keep grinding. You got to put a good product on the field for them to buy into it. And I think once that happens, I think you're going to see significant change for the next several years with Coach Blake being back. He's going to put these guys together, bring them in, and they're going to start building something really strong for the future.
Now he was here with Larry Fedora when you were playing, right, Ryan?
Yes, sir. He was offensive coordinator in 2009. He was there also in 2008. He was a quarterback coach. And then he became the offensive coordinator in 2009.
Those of us on this show believe that Blake Anderson is the right guy to have here. Unfortunately, I think he should have been hired the first time he tried to get the job, and I think the history might have been different after Coach Fedora left. But I'll bet you think that as well. He's the perfect guy to have here.
Absolutely. I mean, we always say, what if? What if that would have happened back then? Where would we be now?
Right.
And I know you can't look back into the past, but I mean, as a former player, as somebody that chose to come to Southern Miss over other schools, to come here to Hattiesburg to just to compete with the tradition that they've had, that we've always had over the years, hoping and knowing that now the second go around, as they call it, with Coach Anderson coming back, I think this is going to be the missing piece that we've needed for a long time.
Well, now, Ryan, these federal judges are just letting people play forever. Could you come back and maybe do another couple of years?
Well, matter of fact, I saw that come across today. They granted something to go back from. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's nowadays. I guess we got to say, the NIL money would, I guess, have to be right. We can go that route, then we can talk about it.
Kelly will sign your check.
Players banged up as I am, I'm not sure much NIL value would be left for me. But,
and Reggie Collier has
definitely give it a chance.
Reggie Collier has always said those Louisiana boys hit harder than anybody else.
He
Bob
did tell me that. He told me he thought it was because you guys ate all that spicy food. He said the Louisiana players hit him harder than anybody he ever played against.
That's right. We were built different. That's right.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for being on the show, man. Great pleasure talking to you, and thanks for your contributions to the football program.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Ryan Hebert, everybody. I love talking to offensive linemen.
Would you have guessed somebody named Hebert is from Louisiana?
No, never. Hey, MCS Home Center, great weekend for home repair, home remodeling, home construction. They've got everything you need out there. They're located 7329 Highway 98 West. MCS Home Center is Hattiesburg's new improvement home center. We're happy to say great friends of ours. We'll be right back.
Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, welcome back to the show. DBAT sponsors this segment of the program. They're out on Hardy Street, and that's where you can go for all sorts of sports training. They got a great pro shop out there as well, and batting cages, and we're still working on getting Santa in a batting cage, but he's putting up a lot of resistance.
It is air conditioned out there too, Bob.
It is air conditioned,
yes.
So I don't know what you're afraid of.
Oh,
Forest Health reminds you
Yikes.
that keeping up with your favorite team is fun, but don't forget the most important player, you. Get an annual physical, take care of yourself now, but when you run into health problems, be reassured that Forest Health will help you with expert medical care closer to home, foresthealth.org. I've said it 1,000 times, but so so blessed to have that medical facility in our community.
And the young people will make fun of us older folks who our
There's going to be a
priorities.
day they're going to say, boy, it's a good thing Forest Health is here.
Our priorities change as we get older.
Yep. All right. Speaking of young people, I guess it'll be a big day tomorrow for kids that get to go to Fan Fest. Kind of lay that out, guys. What's that all about?
Gates are going to open tomorrow at 10:30. Good that it's still in the morning where you're not going to necessarily get the brutality.
That's going to be hot.
It's a cool snap's coming through tonight, Sandy.
No, I'm just saying 10:30. It's going to be cooler than at 4 in the afternoon. So not much, but.
Not by much. I was there last week at 11 a.m. It wasn't any cooler at 4.
It was pretty hot.
Okay, so I'm trying to encourage people to go to Fan Fest.
I'm just saying we need to tell the people how it's going to be. If you're going, bring water.
It's at 10:30 in the morning. That's
No,
a fact.
The gates open at 10:30. It starts at 11.
Yeah, the gates open at 10:30. But this is for the kids tomorrow, right? So suck it up, adults.
Yeah.
All right, and make sure that you have your felt tip pens that the kid, because I'm sure they'll have the posters that with the players that the kids can get their signatures.
It's a good day for kids.
Yeah, to get to. These are their heroes, right? These are you're developing future Golden Eagle fans.
But also tomorrow is a scrimmage, and we're getting close now to the start of football season. This would be the second scrimmage. And how do you think it'll differ from what you saw last week, Demo?
Well, first and foremost, the question will be, will Ethan Hampton play? I mean, that's probably the biggest question that I have coming into the scrimmage. Obviously, we saw him do a little bit of work this week in practice, not much, and they wanted to emulate this week as a game week as much as possible. Now, it will differ from the scrimmage last week in that it'll be a lot more situational work than what we saw in the first scrimmage. First scrimmage was a lot from inside the 20s, a lot more first and 10, and some of the time they didn't even have the chains out. But this is going to be a lot more red zone work, a lot more third down work, a lot more fourth down work, a lot more situational work in this scrimmage than we've seen in the past. Anderson did say, however, that this would emulate almost like half a game for the ones, so not quite as many snaps as last time. So. But it's still an important scrimmage for them because it'll be the last time they can go live before they play Alcorn State.
Here's a question I have for both of you. Hypothetical, but if you don't see Hampton tomorrow, should that be read that injury is more severe than they thought? Or would you read it, it's still not that severe, as severe, we want to make sure that he's completely healed?
Well, here's the catch-22, I would think, as a coach, and obviously I'm not a coach. You want him to get as many snaps as he can get before the season starts, but you don't want to aggravate an already existing injury. So what do you do?
Dima?
I mean, you have to get him reps. So, I mean, I think if he's ready to go, he plays. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line.
Okay, and if you don't see him, that's a reason for a big concern then.
I think so because he told us on Monday that they want him for the scrimmage.
Okay.
And so if he's not there, if he's not playing, I mean, that to me would be like, this is something that is a little bit more serious than what we thought. But, I mean, it's not serious in the fact that he's going to need surgery. Anderson told us that he doesn't need surgery. It's not serious in the fact that he's out for the season, drastic stuff like that.
Right.
But it's obviously serious enough for him not to play in a scrimmage, 2 weeks
where he
before.
needs the snaps.
Correct. And so that, to me, if he does not play at all tomorrow, that would tell me that the quarterback race, at least for week 1, is wide open.
All right, what is important tomorrow? What will be important for the coaching staff to solidify? And you talked earlier in the show about not having 5 consistent linemen to start. I would think that's getting to be real important at this point to decide your starting offensive line.
Yes, and I put out a story this morning, Friday morning, about that, depth chart. It's almost not a concern, but it is a concern because it's not a concern that you have depth in that offensive line room where you can rotate so many guys. But the problem that they've run into is that they just don't have 5 that they put out there yet and said, this is our starting 5. And we've heard from Anderson, we're getting to the time where you got to say that because you got to have some and chemistry. You got to have some, communication, knowing what the guy to your right is going to do. And I thought that was a big problem in the first scrimmage when they allowed 9 sacks, right, was that they just kept rotating in new guy after new guy after new guy, and there wasn't any communication, there wasn't any chemistry. So that to me is very important. One thing I asked Kyle Cefalo, the offensive coordinator, and Anderson throughout this week was, how close will it be to your first string when those first 11 on offense and defense roll out there? How close do you envision that first string to be to who takes the field against Alcorn State? And they said they want it to be almost as close as possible, barring any injury. So my thing is if the first 5 offensive line we see, that unit should be playing together most of the snaps tomorrow. The second unit should be coming as 5 and playing together. I don't know if we'll see as many rotational, such as left guard, right guard, center, all those things. That to me is one thing I'm looking for. Second thing I'm looking for is the secondary. How have they responded since last weekend? They had a okay-ish, scrimmage, but they need to be better. And that'll be the second thing I'm looking for.
So if those 5 linemen that you say will be as close to the starting lineup as possible, then would it not stand to reason that one of the things you want to look for is much better protection of the quarterback, considering there were 9 sacks?
Yes, and it'll be a little bit harder to read because it is situational work. So it'll be a little bit harder to gauge exactly how good it's come in a week. Does that make sense? Because it's not 1st and 10, it's 3rd and 3, and it's a quick pass, or 3rd and tunnel screen or something like that. So it's going to be a little bit harder to gauge exactly how much they've come as far as pass protection from last weekend, but it certainly still will come to pass that you see these 5 guys. Who's the strength? Who's the weakness? Who's calling the shots? Who's the leader in that room? And
looking at some of the video from last week's scrimmage, I noticed something that you noticed as well, Dean, but to be fair, I was looking for it since you mentioned it. A lot of missed tackles.
Yes.
I mean, that's basic. I mean, I've never coached a game of football, but I know how important tackling is. That's one of the things that I want to see, as well as just protecting the football. And whether it's short down situations or long downs, ball protection is 24/7. I mean, you've got to protect the ball.
Absolutely. And something we saw in Wednesday's practice was a couple of fumbles on the ground and some tight red zone work they were working on, and Anderson wasn't too happy about that. But then also, like you said in last weekend's scrimmage, 3 interceptions that could have been 5, but 2 were called off by penalties. So just a lot to clean up, but it's for anybody. I know everybody said that I was negative on my last comments on this scrimmage, but it was a lot to clean up, and let's see if they've cleaned it up in tomorrow's scrimmage. As far as tackling, I agree with you that I am looking for that as well. But again, it's going to be hard to gauge exactly how far they've come because of how much situational work they're going to run tomorrow. So it is a little bit different than just a live scrimmage.
We hear the terms finesse and physical. From what you see so far, where does this team fall? Is this going to be a finesse team or a big, stout, physical football team?
I think a big, stout football team, big, stout, physical football team. They have the size. I mean, there's no doubt about that. That offensive line is big. I mean, they're all 6'4". They have a 340-pound lineman. So they have big size, and their defense flies around. They're very physical. They want to be there. They're playing football. They love playing football. It's just about, can they be in the right position? And, because there's a lot more to it than just being physical and looking good. And you also have to be in the right position. You have to execute. And I think that's what they've been trying hardest to work on during fall camp so far.
And really, that's what's been in the Southern Miss veins for all these years, is big, tough, strong, physical. Right? I mean, maybe Fedora had some finesse teams, but the old nasty bunch way was, the down in the trenches kind of old-fashioned kind of football. So
they still play that kind of football in the Big Ten, I think, particularly. But largely, it kind of seems like to me you see teams getting away from that outside of that league.
And I asked earlier, Butch Jones was on the show when I had a chance to talk to him in New Orleans. So we didn't get to the entire interview. But I asked him, do you expect a lot of the games this year, based on the fact that all of the teams are generally pretty new, do you expect high-scoring games or low-scoring games? And he said, high-scoring. He said, I think a lot of these games are going to be 38-35, 42-35, that sort of thing. What do you think, Dima? You agree with Butch Jones?
As far as the league in general?
Yeah, generally.
Maybe. There's a lot of questions on defense for a lot of the teams, so I could see it. Now I will say with the clock rules now, it doesn't allow for a lot of high-scoring games and stuff like that for like 42, 44 or whatever. But you could see a certain handful of them for sure.
All right, FanFest is here. Football is just around the corner. Go enjoy yourself tomorrow. Take the kids What time, guys?
Gates open at 10:30. Scrimmage is at 11. And then the kids will get their posters signed, and then they'll take them to their bedroom, and they'll hang them up on the walls.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, with the schedule down in the corner or whatever. You know.
And when we come back, Alabama playing the Seattle Seahawks Week 1 in college football.
Big news from Robinson Electric Supply in Laurel. We've moved. You'll now find us directly behind our old building, right by Sawmill Animal Hospital. We're still your trusted electrical distributor, carrying everything from conduit to tape. And don't forget our full line of Milwaukee tools. Whether you're a contractor or a DIY pro, stop by the new Robinson Electric Supply at 1222 West 6th Street and see what's lighting up Laurel. Robinson Electric Supply. New location, same trusted service.
You're tuned in to the Eagle Hour. The Eagle Hour. Southern Miss to the top.
Hey, I want to say a shout out to our good buddies at Dickey's Barbecue. We talk about them every day, but what great food out there with football just around the corner. Just around the corner. Now'd be the time to start set up some tailgates. It's too hot to cook. Just let Dickey's bring it out there to you and enjoy the afternoon with your friends.
And football is supposed to be a time where you just relax, enjoy the fellowship of friends. You've worked a long year. Man, they do it. They're professionals. They've been doing it for years. Just enjoy your time with your friends and leave the cooking to Dickey's.
100%. Marty Vick buys gold and silver. I want to clarify something Kelly said earlier in the week because I did check with Marty. He is not buying gold teeth, Kelly.
He's not, okay.
No,
I think you've exhausted that joke.
Yeah, so, well, Kelly, he keeps bringing it up.
Well,
now your gold tongue.
No, Little Wayne had called me.
Oh, they're pretty tight. They hang out in the ATL.
Good for you, Bob.
I thought they hung out in the MIA.
That too.
What is that?
Miami.
And then I heard him tell somebody today that his son had just gotten back from the DR.
Oh.
It flew into the GPT last night.
Oh, I know what that is. What about the MSY?
Stop.
Airport codes for 200, please.
Please stop.
Do you know what
EWR
airport code is?
That is Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, good. Good for you.
How the hell do you know that?
I'm actually good at airport codes. Give me one. Give me a
Detroit.
Isn't it DET?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nashville.
I haven't flown into Nashville at one time.
I think it's BSN.
It is BSN. You're right.
I'm going to fool you on this one. New Orleans.
MSY.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
That one's easy, though, just because you fly
Chicago O'Hare.
ORD.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What is with you two people? What's wrong with you two?
When you book flights, Bob, you got to click in the airport code.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Kelly Center.
Of course, Bob travels on Greyhound.
Yes.
So it's
in the back. I have to sit in the back, on the back row.
Speaking of traveler.
No. The man from the East, we get all that.
No, please don't.
I talk about how the Seahawks are going to be playing Alabama.
Oh, yes.
I'm interested in hearing this.
Well, it's actually the Browns. We got the Eagle Hour investigative team corrected us in the break. And
Both
it's actually, the Browns. And Cleveland Browns tight end DeQuan Wright has entered the college football transfer portal.
You know that you just read that again because that
Cleveland Browns tight end DeQuan Wright has entered the college football transfer portal.
Why, if you're a player for the Cleveland,
would y'all like me to read that again?
Yeah, please, one more time.
Cleveland Browns tight end DeQuan Wright has entered the college football transfer portal.
I think I know how this happened because the head coach of the Browns now is who?
Todd Monken.
Who coached at what university that's near and dear to us?
Southern Miss.
And where did this tight end play college football?
Ole Miss.
Oh, well, he don't want him on a team.
That's right.
So that means DeQuan Wright's playing at Southern Miss this year.
Could be. You know, we've had the pleasure of spending a little time around Coach, and let me just say that his language can be colorful. I wonder what he said to DeQuan when he got that news.
I would guess that it was 2 words, but we're not going to play charades. It's a good.
It kind of rhymes with truck.
Yes.
You know, like a red truck.
And the opposite of on.
Yes.
Right. I don't think Coach would be shy about
Or Y-O-U.
about expressing his, that kind of that's just it's just a comedy of absurdity.
You can't even describe what you think about that.
No, it's like you're making it up.
And I mean, I know the Browns aren't expected to necessarily win the Super Bowl.
NFL.
I know, and I get it. I get it. But maybe he's going, maybe if I go to a college team that has a chance to win, maybe, because the Browns aren't going to win.
Could you imagine, Patrick Mahomes going to Oregon or something?
Well, the joke back in the day, particularly with Alabama and LSU, is that when these guys would get drafted to the NFL, why would they go?
That was a joke.
Because
It's not a joke anymore.
They'd have to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
Well, now it is more true than not.
Yeah.
That if you're not a top 2 or 3 round draft pick, you could make as much playing college football, if not more, than playing in the pros. And again, the questions we asked earlier. Are they redrafted then? Do the Browns still have the rights to this young man?
Do we know the answers to any of this insanity?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I think we're getting a judge in Idaho to make a ruling.
Here's what I would think. A judge in Idaho.
Yes.
In front of his potato soup.
Yes.
I would think that NFL coaches have very little patience with that. And I would think that their attitude is, well, I'll tell you what, son, that's probably where you need to be. Leave.
So you think Coach Monken did the 2-word charades?
I don't think he tried to talk him into staying after he got this news. No.
Yeah.
No, it's just insanity.
Yeah.
Isn't the goal to play in the league? Isn't that the ultimate goal if you're a football player?
Which league? The SEC? Or
oh, no. They're not good anymore.
Or the Big Ten? Is that
yeah, the Big Ten.
That's what your goal is now in the NFL, is to play in the SEC or the Big Ten.
I guess so.
The NFL or the Big Ten. The SEC
Tom
doesn't
Brady
count.
may see a comeback here for Tom Brady. He could go back to Michigan. Isn't that where he played?
And heaven knows he needs more money.
You'd love to see that, wouldn't you, Deemer?
I would. I wouldn't worry much about Michigan if 48-year-old Tom Brady was the quarterback.
Hey, 2 weeks from tomorrow, guys.
He's a handsome man.
2 weeks from tomorrow, we're playing college football in Hattiesburg. How about that?
With the Braves. We're going to get a guy from the Braves on the show. We're going to talk about Alcorn a little bit.
Sounds good.
Hey, hope you have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy Fan Fest. Please stay out of the weather if you can. Be careful if you're going to get out. Go enjoy Fan Fest. Takes lots of bottled water. And we'll see you Monday. Southern Miss.
To the top.
Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle till I'm free. I go through the revolution.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.